fantasy friends, I'm Carrie Oehm from HotRoster today, and I know many of you probably have some New Year's resolutions, and one of them should be kicking butt in your fantasy hockey league, so I'm here to tell you who should start and sit in this week's matchups. Well, a guy that's been red hot is Victor Hedman. After a slow start to the season, the Swedish Prince has been racking up the points. Hedman has recorded 9 multi-point games this season, and since December 12th, he has 16 points, the most in the NHL during that span. He also leads NHL defensemen in assists and ranks second overall in the league behind Connor McDavid. Also among defensemen, Hedman and Brent Burns are tied for goals scored. He's also racking up the blocks with 13 in his last 6. He's looking like a true top defenseman, is definitely in the Norris Trophy conversation. Now, a guy who I would not play is Anze Kopitar. Kopitar is usually a stud, but he's been kind of bad. I mean, bad might actually be an understatement for this guy. He's only scored once in his last 24 games and has 2 assists in his last 13. He's also a -6 in that span and has 7 games with 2 shots or less. The Kings captain just isn't doing it for me, so if you have this guy in a matchup, definitely don't play him and ride him on the pine in fantasy. The Columbus Blue Jackets have won 16 straight games, and a player that's been a standout is Cam Atkinson. The 5'8" winger has scored 10 goals and 8 assists during their win streak and is a +8 during that span. The NHL All-Star hopeful also likes to take shots. He has 12 games with 4 or more shots this season and is on pace to have 236, which is slightly better than his career high. He also leads his team with 18 goals and 38 points in 36 games. Now, a guy that I would avoid playing is Boone Jenner. The top 6 forward who plays on a line with Atkinson just hasn't been putting out the points during CBJ's hot streak. He only totaled 4 goals and 1 assist in his last 16 and has 10 points in 30 games this season. He's taking a big step backwards after finishing last season with 30 goals and 49 assists. The Habs have had an injury-plagued season, and last night Brendan Gallagher may have joined some of his teammates on that injured list. Shea Weber hit another one of his teammates with his shot. This time, a 97-mile-per-hour shot hit Gallagher's hand. He immediately went to the bench, screamed in pain, then left down the tunnel. He was then pretty much immediately ruled out of Saturday's game against Toronto, which is never a good sign. Now, I know this might be a sweet relief for some Gallagher owners who have been suffering through his cold streak. He has just 1 point in his last 11 games, and his ice time has fluctuated a lot. However, where there's injury, there's always opportunity, and with the Habs' depleted bench, Nathan Beaulieu has been picking up some of the benefits. He's been skating on the top power play unit in Andrei Markov's spot for the last 6 games, and he scored a Gino on the PP last night against the Stars and added 2 assists. He also has 18 shots in those last 6 games, along with 11 blocks and 9 hits. You know, he's not a fantastic option for the rest of the season, but right now, I would definitely pick him up. Well, that's it for today, fantasy friends. Make sure you tune in tomorrow when we look at one of the matchups available on HotRoster for the weekend. And for those of you who don't know what HotRoster is, go check it out. Go to HotRoster.com, download the app, give it a try, and it's like no other fantasy game you've ever played. Then for some help winning the game, check out HotRoster today with the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart and Gary and Thorne every weekday at 4:30 Eastern, only on the Fantasy Sports Network. For HotRoster now, I'm Carrie Oehm.